Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hey, we would like you to like and subscribe because guess what? We need subscribers.
Yeah.
We want to grow this channel. We want to share everything with you. And we want you to share with us. So even share it to a friend if you think that this might help them.
Yeah.
We just got so much to say. We always
Yeah.
have so much to say. And we invite all of you to join us and just take this little journey with us. I mean, whew, it is.
We're having a lot of fun.
It is, yeah. So how many of you out there, raise your hand, had a really emotional week last week where it just felt like a roller coaster? Okay. Well, we made it through.
We did.
And if you haven't had a chance to check it out, I finally posted our video in an actual bowls session that we had yesterday. And good night. Did we get the visions?
Yes.
Who?
Yes. We have to talk about that. And we have to talk about our dreams. So hopefully
we
can get it
might
all
make
in.
this a two-parter.
Yeah.
But last week I think I called Sandy every day going, help.
Yeah. What's
I
wrong
feel
with
like
me?
I don't know. One minute I'm crying, the next minute I'm happy, the next minute I'm angry. I mean, it was a very emotional week for me for some reason. Well, I had a big download, so that happens to me. Plus, we were in the middle of a retrograde. Plus, we had the Lions Gate. I mean, who's going to hold their emotions together? If you did, good for you. I just kept saying, ground yourself, ground yourself, ground yourself. That's all you can really do here is just stay grounded and you will get through this.
Stay in your truth. That was
Always.
the other one.
Yeah. So, moving on from that, 'cause I even think we talked about that on our last video, how I was just like almost ready to cry on my way out to your house.
Yes,
so,
we did.
and it lasted a whole week. Then Bowls comes along on Sunday and whoosh, I'm a new person.
Yeah, we looked at each other and you said to me, "Are you a little nervous?" Because we haven't had bowls in a while.
Yeah.
In-person bowls. And so we finally had one. It's my daughter, who is 8 months pregnant, and her really good friend, and they have these bowls. They cut down bowls only because of school, new jobs, things like that, and my daughter's pregnancy. So we're
finding this is not an excuse because we are finding that we need it weekly. So I don't know.
Yes.
They may have to tape for us just so we might have to watch that one way that I just put up
and
every time
over again because she's going on maternity leave. And then her friend is also has a new job, so lots of going on with them. But we desperately need them. The bowls.
Did I hear you talk to somebody in our class yesterday that was learning to play bowls?
She's learning how to play bowls, and I'm like, perfect. We even thought about it ourselves because I know there's some online courses that you can take. Totally recommend them. Totally recommend trying to get a group together.
If any of you guys play, let us know. I mean, like, what should we look for? What should we buy? What kind of classes? Do you have any classes that you took that you recommend online or anything
we'd
like that?
To even maybe share your link if you have something and we can share it on our page. That way,
link it in the comments.
Yes, please, because I found that I need bowls. I need it. It helped me it revigorated me. It was really kind of just, the visions that we saw. Okay, let's get into that.
Okay, here we go. Now, we have said, or I don't know if we have or not, but I have told Sandy many a times that I just think that she and I are twin flames. And, I don't mean that like twin flames like we should get married or something, because she's already married and so am I. So, but twin flames on a different level, on a soul level where we just were meant to be together. And we are like...
have a connection.
So in sync.
Yes.
It's insane. And I mean, if you go back and look at our videos, like, can you just look today? I mean, I had no idea what she had on. She had no idea
Mm-mm.
what I had on. And it seems like every time we go to tape,
Yeah.
or I should, that's probably an 80s term. Every time we go to, what are we doing? Video?
Yeah, we're taping.
Whatever we're
That's all
doing.
right.
Um, we're like coordinated.
Always.
Hello.
Yeah.
So anyway, where do you want to start
Oh,
with
my.
yesterday? Whew.
Oh my. Okay, so you had a busy night, Saturday night. I kind of did. We got to bowls and we're like, oh, we can't wait. We're excited. We're even a little nervous because we don't know what's going to come through. Got through bowls, as you've seen in the last video that Diane posted, with our bowl sisters, Danielle and Becca, and give them credit. Thank you very much.
You
Thank
guys
you,
are
thank
so
you,
good.
thank you.
We love you.
Awesome. We got done meditating. I sat up, you looked at me, and you said, this is what I saw. And describe what you saw. Because as you're talking, my jaw had to have been dropping because we correlated so much.
So my visions were, through most of the whole thing, it was purple. Everything was purple. And, which, I mean, for me, that's not unusual. Sometimes it'll go like a yellowish red or something, depending on what's going on. But normally it's purple. And that's pretty much what I was seeing. Mine started off with a little tiny dragonfly, which I thought was ironic. And then the dragonfly got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until it was just huge, taking up all the purple in my vision. And it looked like a cross. And then its head kind of lit up like a light bulb or like a flashlight or something, just kind of showing the way. And then it just faded away. And then I saw us here at Sandy's house. Like, you guys can't see it, but the way we're facing is her fireplace, and that's what I could see in the vision. And the whole room was filled with these little fairies everywhere. There was these little fairies watching over us. And I'm not sure if you had any of that, but then it all kind of started, and I think this is where we started to
correlate. Yes.
When we started talking.
Yeah.
And so the next thing I see is what I thought was a dog. And I'm like, I don't think that's a dog. And I kept looking, and then it ended up that it was a wolf howling at the moon. I could see it, like, with a big moon behind it, and it was howling. And so I told Sandy that, and then, so let's just tell him, okay, so I saw that, and then what did you see?
And I said, that's weird. I seen a fox. And I'm like, a fox out of nowhere. So,
and she thought it was a dog too at
I
first.
thought it was a dog. Well, previous to that, all I was seeing is this purple velvet color, like you. That's one of your chakras, and illuminating back and forth. But then a dog appeared, and then for some reason I saw some type of ladder or stairs. They were white stairs, and all of a sudden they kind of fell to the ground, and I'm like, very abruptly, and that's all I seen of that. But then the moon appeared, just like Diane's moon. A moon appeared, and I don't remember seeing the fox. Kind of a dog with the ears and everything. Maybe it was looking at the moon, or I was looking at the moon, but that's definitely what I saw.
Okay, so now we got dogs and moons. I mean, a wolf and a fox,
right?
And the purple. And then I told her, I said, then I saw this big black, like, storm cloud, and it went from the sky to the ground, which I think was kind of like her ladder that she was seeing. And it was just tall, and but mine was moving really slow towards me, and the whole time these words kept going in my head that said, the sun will come back. The sun will come back out again. So basically, don't worry, the sun will be back. The sun will be back. And this cloud just kept getting closer and closer and closer. And then I know it's kind of morbid.
Go ahead.
And I don't know if it had anything to do with your ladder falling,
Yeah.
but then I saw this grave, and it was probably 20 feet deep,
Yeah.
and it had thousands of bodies in it, like just kind of stacked up on top of each other, just like they didn't know what to do with all these people. And then was it the green that came after that?
I think it may have been, but this might spark your memory, because then what I said I saw was like I was on a hill or a mountain or something, and I was looking down at this valley, and this valley was beautiful with really beautiful trees and green and everything like that. But all of a sudden, this valley was like closed, completely closed like this, and it was like a black wall that closed it up, and it disappeared. So
I wonder kind of if that was the grave being covered, or the black cloud that I saw mixed kind of in with yours. And then, like,
what I found that was weird was the order that things were happening in your meditation that were happening in mine. The last thing that I kind of saw was what maybe represented your dragonflies or your fairies. I saw something, and if you look at the video of the bowls of our two friends sitting there playing the bowls, my daughter and her friend, I felt like there was some type of angel that was in between them. And that angel, at first I thought it was an angel, but then you said you saw the fairies. And so I'm like, well, maybe it was fairies that I saw, but I know it was angelic. I know it was beautiful, and it was like sitting in between the two of them. So, and then the very end was
the end for both
of us was what color?
Neon green, like this, almost like, if you buy like slime or something, it's that neon greenish color. And it like took over all the purple and everything. And I'm like, where is this coming from? Usually if I see green, it's not that neon green's not beautiful, but it was a different green. It was a different type of green. And I'm like, that is just
so you looked
so crazy.
You looked that up, right? You Googled a few of those things, right? Yeah. So your neon green represented what?
It was like kind of like unique and prosperous and like new things coming, new beginnings, new life, new like just everything was anew and was changing. Everything is changing. And I guess you can kind of see that because the color that it was, I guess, is between like a green and a yellow. So I suppose if you saw that, you could see how it would change to a different color. And I did look up that. I looked up the wolf howling at the moon and, back in the Indian times, I mean, it was a very divine type symbol to them. And it was like when the wolf would howl, he was howling to his pack, or in our case, our tribe of people, or just people like you, to just keep talking, to let you know, what we hear, what we see, to just keep sharing that information so that everybody, can do with it what they need to. I mean, something we might say might not make any sense, but something we do might make you go, oh my gosh.
Yeah, and I'm growing, and I feel like we have. I mean, even though we think, oh, I think we're almost there. I don't think we ever stop growing.
No, I don't
and
either.
I think we keep on evolving as well. And I think that this was part of it. We were shedding, we were clearing, especially during some of that downtime we had. But now it's like I feel like we're growing. We're even getting more intuitive, but our synchronicities were just amazing.
Now, can we talk about when we left Bowls and went out, and we were talking about this outside in the parking lot afterwards?
Yeah.
And this channel, means the world to me. And the Dragonfly name was given to me by the angels, and that's what they wanted me to use. And as we are standing there talking to each other, now mind you, I have not seen a dragonfly in years.
Yeah.
And as her and I are sitting there talking to each other, here comes flying this dragonfly right by us, and then this little teeny butterfly, white butterfly right behind it. And I'm like, excuse me, did you just see that?
Yeah, we both looked at each other and
like, was that a dragonfly?
Yeah.
I mean,
Sure
what
enough.
is going on?
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's just
it was almost magical. I felt like it was really magical. I think we needed to see what we had to see, and that synchronicities were so important, and they meant something to us, and those symbolisms did mean something to us. So I'm really glad that we had the opportunity to sit through bowls and meditate, and it was
the most excruciating part about this was after bowls, I had something to do, she had something to do, and we couldn't talk to each other. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, hurry up and get home because I got so much to say.
Yeah, it was amazing.
But yeah, we did get to talk, obviously, and then we talked again, obviously, and then again, and but yeah, when stuff like that happens, that was the first time, I believe. Now we've had a lot of thoughts and different things that we both share, but that's the first time we've ever had a meditation that was basically the same thing in the same order at the same time, and we're not talking to each other, and none of it was anything we had talked about prior to bowls. So it's like,
well, neither one of us have animals. We don't have dogs, so it's not like we were thinking about that. Not that I wouldn't love to have a little dog, but
I like green, but that would not have been the shade of green that I would have chosen.
Exactly.
The purple was pretty normal.
It is normal when I'm meditating. Purple does come out quite a bit.
And the dragonflies, I mean, I wasn't really, you know what I mean? I wasn't thinking about the dragonflies. And I don't usually, in my meditations, except when the angels were giving me the name for this channel, I don't normally see them in a meditation, but whoosh, they were everywhere.
Yeah.
And my cousin Renee, she sees and loves fairies all the time. She swears that they're around her and they protect her, and they are just there all the time. And they kind of get overlooked because I don't know what people think about fairies, but I think they're little angelic creatures, and they just protect us and watch over us, and
they're just miniature angels, I think.
Yeah, we're gonna call them that, miniature angels.
Little miniature
I like that.
Angels, yeah.
So it was just so wow.
Yeah.
It was like another. I swear, divine, and the angels and God and our spirit guides. Every once in a while, they just do something hooky wooky for us just to make us go, all right, we're back. We're back. And we also talked about that, bulls kind of got set to the side, which maybe that was not an accident. And then Sandy's dreams started kind of,
they kind of
just mellowed down a little bit.
Quite a bit. I did not dream much during the time that I was not attending bowls.
And then I still have visions, and I still, but I haven't done any readings for anyone lately, and I just it's kind of like they put us on a hiatus.
I think we needed it,
said,
though.
"Hey, girls, you guys need to take a break for a second."
I think so.
And oopsie, and think about manifesting. I really feel like they were really pushing us to manifest.
Yes, and that's when the Lionsgate came in, and we talked through that on our last video and how important that is.
Yeah.
So that was needed. I think we just needed to set some intentions and be very clear, be very detailed and specific. And I think it's really, it's coming, together now. I think it's finally, things are really set. You mentioned my dreams.
So let's fast forward to it's time for bed. Okay.
My goodness.
It was a busy night.
It was a busy night.
It was. Are you
Yeah.
tired? I'm gonna go to bed early
I
tonight.
am going to go to bed early. Although I fell asleep on my couch after taking my granddaughter somewhere yesterday. And we spoke, and then I fell asleep on my couch. My husband was watching a movie, and it was about 7:30. And he's like, "Why don't you just go to bed?" And so I did. I staggered off to bed, and I slept so well. But I had dreams. I had the most vivid dreams.
Which I was so excited to hear because I love to hear her
Yeah.
dreams, and it's been. She'll tell
It's
me
been a hot minute.
I dreamed, but I can't remember.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
I was dreaming like crazy over the last month, but nothing like I did last night. And the first one, little embarrassing, because there's a meaning behind it. Okay. So I'm not going to tell you like the really any details, but I dreamt of poop. I dreamt of poop. And I'm so sorry, this is gross. But I did. But we looked into it. We looked at what that meant because about a month ago, I dreamt of poop again. Well,
and then I had not
yes.
the actual, but the words like of it.
Yeah.
Like, why would this person say they went to the restaurant?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, okay, of all the things you could say, that's what you say
in
your
my dream. That's what you dream. And it was a handicapped family member that was in her dream, and in my dream it was a grandchild. Okay, so Diane looked it up, and the vision of the poop that I seen in my dream was the shape of a rabbit. So you looked up what poop meant, and that was prosperity.
Yeah.
And
letting go. Just kind of flushing it down the toilet and getting rid of all that whatever.
Yes.
And
then the rabbit signified prosperity
and
luck.
And
so did green. So we're trying to piece all these dreams together. Okay, so of course that was short dream. Thank goodness. By the way, it didn't stink. It was a dream.
Good.
So, but yeah, it was fun. It was funny in some ways.
We are here to tell it all. Okay, all
right. So my second dream was help me remember, Di. Okay, I drew a blank.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Was this about us going out of town?
No. Okay, no, wait. Then the next dream after that, after the poop dream, I was spreading some things around the front of my house. Okay, I went outside in my dream, was spreading some I think mouse repellent around my home.
Oh yeah.
And as I'm spreading this mouse repellent, because you can go around and do that if you want. I live out in the country, so I hate mice. And so that was one of my big things. So I forgot to get a spot in the front of my house. So I was out on my front porch, and in my dream, I started uncovering this airplane. And this airplane was probably the size of like a toy car, large toy car, the ones you drive, but it was definitely a plane. And I kept on moving the dirt away from the plane. So I'm like, why am I dreaming about a plane? And I did look that up, and I got to cheat a minute, okay? So in the airplane meant excitement, freedom, adventure, and
so far so good.
Yeah, and then also grounded and connected. So that is what an airplane. So that's good, I think.
I think that's great.
Okay, my last dream. I have to tell you this, and I already told you what this one was, and it was absolutely amazing, and I can completely relate to this. So we were in a convention center, some type of convention center, and we were in meetings, and we're at tables with different people. Some of the people we knew, and a good friend of mine was there with me, and she had asked for me to come over and visit her because she was selling some products and wanted me to try out the products and asked me to come over at 4 p.m. that night. And you happened to come up to us and say, "What are you guys talking about?" And I said, "Well, she wants me to come over tonight and visit." And you're like, "Oh, that is awesome, great. I'm glad that you have other friends." And I was like, "Oh, I'm glad Diane is happy for me that I have other friends too," which we do. We have plenty of other friends. Well, then we went to another part of this convention center, and I got to tell you, this convention center was absolutely amazing. It had a golf course, and it was set in a really serene, beautiful area, mountainous, lots of grass, and there was lots of
I want to go there.
yeah, I know. It's almost like a spa look. And we were sitting there and we were on a break, and all of a sudden you said, "I want to go outside." And this facility was really hard to get in and out of, but somehow you found your way out the door and went outside. And as I'm looking for you and wondering where you went, I'm like trying all these doors, and I just couldn't get any doors open. And I finally got the door open that I needed to get outside where you were. And here I'm lugging around my luggage, lugging around my computer and my phone, and I'm trying to take all this stuff with me, and I'm like,
so are you mad at me? Like, where did she go?
I was like, where did she leave me? So all of a sudden, other people found these doors to lead to outside, and where do I find you? You're sitting outside the railing of the most serene looking view. And it was just mountainous. It was beautiful. You know how railings protect you and keep you in. No, you were sitting outside.
And if anyone knows me, and if it was high, was it high?
It was very high. And you were looking down, and the breeze was just I could see the back of you. And I'm scared to death. I'm like, oh my gosh, although I didn't want to bother you because you were like in a complete meditative state. And I knew that you were safe for some reason. I knew you were happy. I knew you were fearless. I knew that you were just you were just the happiest you could be, because your hair was blowing in the wind. And here I am still scrambling around with my computer.
And didn't you say it was like this, wherever I was sitting was kind of like made for me?
Yeah, it was like you had your own little throne or seat that you were sitting perfectly. You weren't sitting on any rocks. It was just made. It was a perfect seat that was made for her, looking over this beautiful. I can't even tell you how serene it was, and the breeze.
Oh, it was a dream.
And it was sorry, but it was so serene, and I dare not bother you because I knew that you were in your element, but I feared for you only slightly because of the fear I had, and the fear that I would have felt if I was sitting on the edge like you were. And as I was watching you, other people were coming behind you, standing behind the rails where they should have been.
Leave it to me.
Yeah, but I was still like look like kind of peeking through the rails and kind of still not on that side of the fence. And then you got up, you just walked inside, and here I am fumbling around for my books, my computer, my clothes that I had gathered. And I'm like, where'd everybody go? They left me again. And then I finally gathered my stuff and got inside. And to me, what that told me was that I still am holding on to things that don't matter. And that
it makes sense.
Yeah.
It really
makes
sense.
And you told me that the last video that you and your son noticed something that you thought was a good conversation for me. and a good
Mm-hmm.
discussion that you and I should take seriously. Not I mean, to just to have, to maybe
Yeah.
talk through, and that is me holding on to things that don't matter anymore. And I don't think it's material things for me, but I think it's like maybe past experiences, past hurts, past fears.
Because if you heard her say, I mean, basically everything she was carrying was like baggage,
Yeah,
heavy, clunky.
yeah.
I mean, here you are in this beautiful, serene, where you should be taking the opportunity to enjoy the
Mm-hmm.
view, and you're like is so holding on to all this stuff to make sure you don't lose it or drop it,
Yeah.
and but yet still caring enough to try
Prevent
to
you
keep an
from get.
eye on
Yeah,
me, and
yeah.
just like, yeah, I mean,
It.
if I had to analyze it, or if anybody
Mm-hmm.
else is like a dream expert out there,
Yeah,
um, it sounded like she was having a hard time at the beginning,
yeah.
even finding her way to that
Mm-hmm.
place of beauty.
Mm-hmm.
And then once she did, because I know she's there,
Mm-hmm.
um, she just has to let go
Mm-hmm.
of. Yeah, I mean, you
Garbage.
really do. I mean,
Garbage.
you really trust me. I mean,
Yes.
um, when I told her today that just by going to bowls yesterday, I feel like, because she's always like, oh, well, I feel like you're a few steps ahead of me, and da da
Mm-hmm.
da da da, and I don't feel that way, because we all have our own journey, but um yesterday when we were in bowls, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we saw the same things, and if that doesn't tell you that we are like traveling together,
Yeah.
um and we're just kind of right on the verge of that. Let's You come over here on the other side of the rail with me,
Yeah.
hold my hand, and we'll just sit here and look at all this beautiful stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Or, if we're that protected, let's just jump.
Yeah.
Let's just go. Let's
Yeah.
fly.
It was there's no words to describe the beauty that Diane was seeing in my dream. It almost brought me to tears, like, gosh, if everybody could see what she could see without all that baggage, without all the earth type fears or
Mhm.
issues or material things, then we would all be so much we would be in a better place.
Yeah.
And I am, that it showed me a lot. My dream showed me a lot, and it gave me even more inspiration to keep on moving forward and to keep on
And I
doing the
do
things
believe
we do.
your guides and your angels come to you in all different kinds of ways.
Mhm.
Sandy just seems to be a dreamer, and
Mhm.
they bring you all kinds of messages. And I mean, that one was so in your face. I mean,
Yeah.
almost like, if you can't figure this one out,
Yeah. Yeah.
we're gonna have to do something extreme.
Yeah, because
I'm not sure.
the first one was poop. The second one was an airplane in the
Mm-hmm.
dirt. Me digging an airplane out of the dirt. It wasn't a wreckage, and there's a difference between
Mm-hmm.
I think an airplane that is a wreckage airplane
Mm-hmm.
and one that you just see or fine. I wasn't flying it, but then that last one was like, okay, it came together. It
Yeah.
really came together,
Flush
and
it down the toilet, let it go, get on that plane,
yes,
fly,
fly.
and let go of all the
Mm,
baggage. You know
yes.
what I mean? Like, have you ever gone on a trip and not taken anything with you?
Mm,
Probably not. But how fun would that be?
yeah.
I mean, just to go, you know what? I'm just going to take my ID and my
Mm-hmm.
whatever, and I'm out of here,
Mm-hmm.
and let's just go. I mean, it would just be
Yeah.
fun. But, I mean, that's kind
Yeah.
of unrealistic, but, um, yeah, and it's funny that she's just said something that someone else said to me today too, is that they wish that they could see life through my eyes, like how I see it. Which
Yes. You told me that someone said that to
Yeah,
you.
and I've changed so much over the last, well, really over the last few years, but mainly in the
Mm-hmm.
last year, kind of since we reconnected,
Mm-hmm.
I really like just with both feet just jumped in and said, "Ta-da! I'm here." Um,
But you have that positiveness about you, and the way you handle things, Di, that and being in your truth, that whole episode we dedicated to being in your truth, and always being grateful, that type of thing. So I think that's where what they were talking about when they said that they
right.
wish they could see things, the way you see things in life, and
Here's how
finding
I see
joy.
it.
Yeah.
Here's how I see it.
Mm-hmm.
To me, um, every life is a game. Every person put here has a life game, and we also play the game with other people so we can learn what we need to learn from their game to be able to play our own. But if I can explain this well enough, at the end of the day, the most important game that you're playing is yours. Your game should always come first, because this was an example I gave to somebody. I said, look, you put your job, like, you give it everything you have, and you think you're winning. But the thing is you're not playing your game, you're playing their game. So they're actually the ones that are winning. Um, if you actually went into their game with your own rules and started playing their game with your rules,
Mm-hmm.
and got them to, either adapt to the way that you are and what you are all about and what is important to you, then the momentum starts in your own game.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of like how I see life is
Mm-hmm.
that, yes, we have to play these other games, but guess what? Just because you're told when you're a little kid that you have to, go to college and get a job and be dedicated to that employer and stay there forever and, you know, do this and do that and do that. Somebody made up those rules.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
guess what? It's your game. If you don't like those rules, make different ones. And as long as it's truth, as long as it's your truth, and if it's like, I truly, truly don't understand why you have that rule in your game. I don't like it.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna play your game anymore. I'm gonna play mine.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I kind of did. I sort of like,
Yeah.
and then it takes people off guard because they're like, hey, wait a minute. You were just playing a game with me,
Yeah.
and now you're playing your own game.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people are like, I want to play your game with
Your
you.
game, right?
Because
Right.
you obviously can teach me a lot of things by the way you're playing your game.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the point. I don't want you to stay in my game. I want you to go play yours. But if you can learn anything from me the way I play mine, absolutely, that's what we're all here for, to learn from each other. And
Absolutely.
whatever resonates with you, whatever is important to you, that's what I mean when I say stay in your truth.
Yes.
Stay true to you no matter what. And don't let anybody tell you you have to do something. You have to, because you don't. I mean, at the end of the day, you don't. That's why we were given free will.
Absolutely.
Right? When we came here, I mean, God gave us all free will to go, yeah, or no, or set a boundary and say, this is one thing I thought was interesting that I had talked about today, was for the majority of my life, and maybe a lot of yours, I know, probably Sandy too, I was a people pleaser. Always. I never wanted to hurt anybody's feelings. Even if somebody was cruel to me, I just kind of took it and was like, well, maybe they're just having a bad day,
Right.
and, or this or that. And then when I finally got into my truth, I'm like, this ain't happening no more. And I'm going to tell you like it is. Okay. Not in a mean way. I'm like, okay, I'm setting the boundary. I'm telling you how it is. And going forward, we're going to play this game by my rules. And in a nice way. And I can't tell you like how many people have noticed like, oh shoot,
And
you
how
know,
it's paid
like
off.
I can no longer just say, oh, don't worry about it, Diane will do it, or you know, just we won't do that. We'll just exclude her if we have to get rid of somebody because she's okay with it.
Yeah.
She's good.
Yeah, she'll be okay with being pushed or
Yeah.
not
well,
being included.
guess what?
Yeah.
Now I'm like, okay, if you want to play the game that way, I could play the game that way.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily like the way you're playing your game, but if I'm going to participate in your game, I guess I'm going to play by your rules. But the minute you want to come over to my game, we're going to play by mine.
Yeah.
So, I hope that makes sense.
It does.
Well, I have a big surprise for you somewhere down the road. And you will learn so much more about this, I promise. But moving forward, stay in your truth. Please, always be loyal to yourself.
Yes.
If you are, everything else will fall into place. Everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. We've definitely talked about that.
Yeah.
Quite a bit. Staying
Absolutely.
in your truth.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There was something else we were gonna
bring up today.
What was it?
Goals, dreams, and there probably was something else. I think I was supposed to call you a bit after I got off work, but I didn't. I got kind of busy.
I know. I had something.
Okay.
She talked about her dreams.
Okay.
So I was going to talk about my
That's
night.
right. That's right.
Okay. So, all right. So last night. All right. Okay. So I can set this whole scenario up for you. Let's back up. I know that if you haven't, there's a video, probably a couple back, where I talk about seeing this person in my room. I wasn't scared.
Oh, yes.
He had a yellowish, goldish glow around him, and no matter where I looked, and I was wide awake, mind you, I was not asleep. No matter where I looked, he was there in the room. But he didn't frighten me. I was like, and no big deal. Okay, so just remember that part. Okay, then going forward just a little bit.
Yes.
Oh, yes. My husband had this. I don't know if he was sick
Allergies.
or he had allergies or something, or I don't know what was going on. He wasn't feeling well, and he had gone to bed, and I had gone. Like he went to bed at like 6 o'clock. Hello,
like me last night.
Yeah, and so I had gone somewhere else, and I wasn't home, and he goes, "Did you?" This was later in the evening when he woke up. He's like, "Did you get in bed with me earlier and lay down?" And I'm like, "No, I wasn't here." And he's like, "Are you sure? Because I felt you get in the bed." And he's like, and I said, "It wasn't me." I'm like, "I have no idea." And he swore I was there. And
because he felt the bed.
And he goes, "I thought, you were coming to check on me." That's the feeling he got, that I was there to check on him, which I feel bad that I didn't, but he, was, anyway, then, oh yeah. So about a week ago, he's asleep, I'm asleep, and I hear him go, and like scare himself awake. And I'm like, "Did you have a bad dream?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I'm gonna go get a drink of water." So he goes and gets a drink of water, comes back to bed, but he doesn't want to talk about the dream. And I'm like, okay. So, we go back to sleep. And then just a couple days ago, he told me the dream. And the dream is that he had gotten up, went out in the kitchen to get a drink, and he heard the toilet flush. And he was like, "Oh, Diane must have got up." And so he walks back to the bedroom, and the bathroom door was open, and he just kind of glanced over, and there was a man standing there urinating, and it scared him, like, and that's what ended up waking him up, was this man. And then last night, the he's got allergies again, and so he said, you know what? I'm just to be on the safe side. I'm gonna sleep in the spare bedroom, and I'm like, I like you to sleep in here because I just feel safer. And he's like, well, he's like, I'm just gonna sleep in here tonight,
Because
and
he didn't
I
want
don't
to get
want
you
you to
sick.
get sick.
Right. That's why.
And I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. So anyway, I went to bed and I went to sleep, and then I heard him say to me, I changed my mind. I'm gonna sleep in here with you. And I'm like, oh, okay, good. Knowing that the reason that he probably was doing that was because I had said that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, that's so nice. And then I don't know, a few hours later, whatever, I I reached over to touch him to see if he was still there because he goes to work real early,
Mm-hmm.
and I felt his arm, and I'm like, oh, he's still here. So it must not be time for him to go to work yet, and I went back to sleep. Then when I woke up, he was gone, and so I called him, and I'm like, how you feeling this morning? He's like, oh, I feel better. He's like, I'm not, stuffy, and I go, okay, good, and I'm like, what time did you come back to our bed? And he goes, what? And I go, what time did you come to our bed? He goes, I didn't. And I go, yes, you did. And he goes, no, I didn't. And I'm like, I talked to you. And he goes, Diane, it wasn't me. And I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm like, well, I talked to somebody and I touched them and their arm felt just like your arm. So I'm not exactly sure if
Who
I have
it was.
a visitor
You
in the
have
house.
to. You must, because this is some dude that's in your house, standing in the corner, pain.
Yeah, but
in your bathroom, and then
in the bed twice. In the bed,
twice.
and both times, like in a caring manner, like
yeah,
the way that Moises felt that it was me checking on him, that I,
yeah.
and then for me, him coming in and laying
Yeah.
down, and yeah.
So you need to
but
research that a little bit.
I'm not whatever this entity or person or spirit is. I'm not afraid of them.
You're not afraid.
I'm not fearful of them at all. I feel like they're watching over me for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Watching over him, got me.
Well, look into it.
I will.
But you do sage your home and you sage yourself now.
Well, I went over to my son's house. He lives across the street, so I went over to his house last night, and because I'd had such a emotional week, his girlfriend said, come over and I will sage you. And I'm like, sage me? And she's like, yeah. She goes, don't you sage yourself? And I'm like, no. I go, I sage my house, but I didn't know I was supposed to sage myself. And she's like, oh yeah, that get rid of all that. And so juju. I went over there and she saged me, and they I guess they were watching me walk back home, and they're like, you're like skipping along like you're like 6. And then I had left my phone there, completely forgot that, and so my son walks across the street and he's like, you forgot your phone. He goes, that must have really cleared you out because you're skipping and forgetting your phone. And I'm like, yeah, I feel pretty good.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's why my visitor came or
yeah.
I'm not exactly sure. But do you sage yourself?
Well, no, I sage my house, and I have to be careful because it bothers Mark.
Yeah.
So I sage it when he's not here, and make sure it's cleaned out. But I think I use holy water.
Oh.
I do. I get holy water,
And like you sprinkle it on yourself?
I sprinkle it all over my house, and I bless myself. I grew up where my mother blessed us before we went to school, and
nice.
said prayer over us, and I bless my house, and whenever Mark goes for one of his appointments, I bless him with it. So I think having those little things help. And
let us know what you guys do. I mean, do you guys sage yourselves or sage your homes?
Use holy water.
What's that other wood? It's like a little piece of wood. I like the smell of it.
The Palo Santos?
Yes, that's it.
That's a nice one.
I have burned that, like let it kind of like smoke around the house. I do like that one, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go get one of those blunts of sage. That's what it looked like to me. And
it does.
I mean, I'm like, I don't smoke pot, but that's kind of what it looks like. So, I'm gonna give that a shot.
Yeah, let us know what you do to bless yourself, to protect yourself, because I think that's important. You really do, because we only want good things, good spirits to come when they do come to us. If they do, I know they visit you probably more often. I don't get those, but you used to.
They like me.
Yeah.
Thank you, goodness. Thank goodness. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, God.
Yes.
That whatever this entity is, he's very friendly. I mean, he's very caring. He's just using the bathroom and,
whatever that
hanging out.
Yeah, hanging out with y'all.
I don't think he meant to scare my husband, but he did. So, yeah.
Your husband's going to start sleeping in the other room if you don't.
Well, and you just got to know. You just got to know. I think that my husband's very spiritual.
Yes.
But he doesn't know it.
Yeah.
Do you know somebody like that? Because there are people out there, I can tell that they are like super spiritual, but they don't even realize it.
Yes.
Like some of the things they see and dream and say. He's one of those.
Yeah.
And he knows that I do this channel, and he knows, that I'm, burning sage around the house, and he has really no idea, I guess, why, and I meditate, and but he never says anything about it. Like it's almost like he doesn't want to like say, yeah, I'm on board with you, but yet he doesn't try to stop me, or tell me that I'm nuts or anything like that.
My husband's the same way,
Yeah. Her husband loves to hear our stories, and then my cousin, her husband, she when I call her, she puts me on speaker, and we'll talk for an hour or so. And he's like, this is better than listening to a podcast. He's like, I could sit and listen to you guys for hours with the stuff that you talk about.
Yeah.
Because she's always got stuff happening with her, and we are going to have her on the show.
We have to.
She's my cousin Renee that does, that's really good with the Reiki.
Yes.
And, I mean, really good with the Reiki.
Yeah.
And then, tell her story too. So in any case, we have a lot more fun to come.
Oh yes, always.
And we are so glad that you tuned in. We just kind of felt like we needed to check in with you because as we're getting older, unless we write it down, which we're not the greatest with writing things,
that's why
she's better than
my
me.
little handy dandy notebook here. That's just
we just wanted to tell you what happened.
It was exciting. I'm glad that
when it was fresh.
Yeah, and we had to.
When we were like,
we got to tape. We have to.
We have to let everybody know what just happened. This is crazy. But anyway, we love you guys so much.
We love
Please subscribe to our channel. Please share, like, and by all means, leave a comment if any of those questions we had or anything that we talked about is anything that you've been through or you felt this week or last week, or you have a friend or a twin flame that you just really connect with too. Tell us what's going on. I mean, I don't know, Sandy. I just want this channel to be like just so free and easy for people to just come and go, this happened,
and to be comfortable to tell us, because we're willing to listen. We definitely want to listen.
We want to know.
We want to know.
I mean, in the area that we live in, I think there's a lot more spirituality than not, but it's still kind of taboo.
Yeah, it's a little conservative, right?
And so if there's a whole bunch of you out there, please, share with us so that the more that we learn from you, the more we grow, and hopefully the more you hear from us, the more you'll grow too. So anyway, on that note, it's almost pajama time, right?
Yeah, it is almost pajama time. I'm in my pajamas at 6:30.
This for us taping is late, and it's probably 5:30. So anyway, we love you. You guys have a great week, and I'm sure we'll be taping again sometime this week and putting it up. But take a minute to just close your eyes and listen to that bowls video. And if you get something from it or visions like we did or anything, let us know what
Please
you
share.
saw, because
Please.
I'm interested to know.
Yeah.
So until next time, lots of love. Like, subscribe, share, and leave a
Comment.
comment. Okay?
All right.
We love you.
Love you.
Bye.